Happy New Year, Sagittarius. New attitudes towards money seem to be one of the important themes for 2019. It is the January 2019 forecast, but I'm going to really cover just a few bases here to give you an overview of what's coming in the 12 months to follow. Finances do occupy the upper part of your mind, and that was the case in 2018 and will continue in the coming months. That is particularly the case with potent Pluto and Saturn combining in your second house of finance throughout the whole of 2019. Now, it's not only about money or cash, it's about the attitudes and belief systems you have about how to manifest money in your life. In your case, Pluto's breaking everything down for you to rebuild it in a much bigger and better way than before. You have to look at it like that. Think carefully about how you've approached money, finance, and professional life. If these haven't actively provided you with the satisfaction you really want, it may be that these transits demand a radical shift in your approach. It's not a good idea using a hammer to screw in a nail, is it? Sometimes the tools we use are outdated and renovation becomes the operative keyword. In your case, that's very much so in 2019. Saturn's hand in this is to delay your aspirations. This planet rules time, and it's only in time that Saturn offers you his financial benefits, provided you've been patient, focused, and especially practical in all of your affairs. Capricorn is the dominant theme of your second house, being the second sign to Sagittarius. It shows you have the capacity to use money in a way that differentiates you from the past. In other words, your past from your future. The notion of insecurity may in some ways have dominated that past. The future can be very different. In the past, you surrendered to the cultural notion that you must work for money. Money is what it's all about, right? You educate yourself, you work and earn money, you save, and then you achieve the things you want. But in studying the lives of the rich and famous, those that are successful, you see that their philosophy is in fact quite different from the average struggling soul. Rather than working for money, they make their money work for them. They have a different concept of what money is and, more importantly, what their relationship to it is. So I think that's the key word for you, Sagittarius, your relationship with money. On January 6th, the solar eclipse activates many of these concepts. Your attention will be focused fairly and squarely on the material side of your life. You can't allow a sense of urgency to create a cross-current of what the universe wants for you now. You must have to grin and bear those circumstances just for a little longer. Don't look at this as a bad thing. It simply gives you the opportunity to understand those things within yourself, those things that are incongruent with the circumstances. So working with rather than against the prevailing energies fast tracks you to your success. These above statements probably sound dire, but the fact is that those planetary movements, in conjunction with the wonderful Jupiter, transit through your sun sign. Throughout this whole of 2019, you'll have the opportunity to shine by being in your own element. Notwithstanding the above material and financial concerns that you've got, this will, to a large extent, not impact you all that much. With Jupiter's incredibly optimistic energy radiating from within your sun sign, that will be enough to attract ample opportunities for success. It sort of smooths over those difficulties. Jupiter's impact is not only going to be felt in your professional area, but has a warm and expansive effect on your marital affairs and love life generally. As Gemini is a very communicative sign, this could be just what you need to open the doors to greater intimacy in the months and years to come. Later in the year, on November 27, another new moon occurs in your sun sign. So you could take this to be the other end of the earlier cycle relating to your partner. And by the way, Gemini is the opposite sign to your sun sign. So with that Jupiter influence, it's going to influence those aspects of your life. Both of you and your partner will be engaged in improving the quality of your relationship, and new business partnerships and a completely fresh outlook on the world generally could be seen as part of this lunar transit. Now, Mercury has an important role to play in the horoscope of Sagittarius, as it dominates the domestic and professional zones of your horoscope. This single planet has jurisdiction over two very large chunks of your life. Generally, the retrograde and forward cycles of Mercury will therefore need to be looked at, as this will show some important turning points throughout the year. There are three important what we call stations of Mercury throughout 2019. First one is on March 28, finds Mercury going retrograde in your sun sign, while at the same time making contact with nebulous Neptune, I call it. You may doubt yourself at this time, but this is probably a more imaginative function of your brain than the reality of things. The combination of these two planets makes you less than rational. You may be under some confusion until its direct movement on March 28. It again goes retrograde on July 8. This is in your 9th house, and it relates to journeys and educational matters predominantly. But it also has a lot to speak about your philosophical beliefs. There could be setbacks in your plans in any of these areas, but specifically speaking about your spiritual or religious beliefs, the indicators are that you may be doing some serious soul searching throughout this retrograde period and asking deeper questions. Finally, on November 1, the retrograde movement of Mercury once again causes you to reevaluate some decision or direction that you're moving in. You'll have to ponder over your plans for a little longer, until at least November 21, when it goes direct in your 12th house of spiritual and charitable activities. It's a time when you're going to be feeling drawn to a deeper view of life and want to step off the merry-go-round to do some soul searching. Under this cycle, you'll finally get to travel, which may earlier in the year not have been altogether possible or easy. Finally, the mixed signals, mixed calls, misunderstood statements are all resolved, and things can move forward generally as a result of that forward motion of Mercury later in the year. Do join me at astrology.com.au. I've got more detail on your love, your romance, your marriage, your finances and your profession, and also your luck, spirituality and karma. I've cordoned those off as separate sections that you can read chronologically, and they are available at the site at astrology.com.au. I do look forward to your company in the coming months. February 2019, I'll be here again. Till then, Happy New Year. Bye-bye.